don't just go to a website for the first time and make a large purchase. Instead, they go through a journey that the website brings them on, from being first-time website visitors to paying clients and customers. If done right, your website designs will craft this sort of journey for each and every one of your clients. Now, this might sound intimidating, but it's really not bad once you get the hang of it. So today, I'm going to walk you through the journey I took when hiring my website designer, and you can take that journey and apply it to your future design projects. Let's start with the steps I took from the time I first discovered my website designer till the time I hired her. I found her blog on Pinterest, read the post that I landed on, and then continued to read a whole bunch more. While I was reading those posts, I signed up for several freebies which got me on her mailing list. And throughout the time I was reading all those blog posts, I was also checking out other pages like her About page and really anything else I could find. I quickly followed her on several social media platforms, which made sure I was seeing her updates every single day. And I also tuned in whenever she did a webinar, which was usually pushing some sort of product that she was offering. And last, I looked over her testimonials and portfolio pieces, read through her services page a couple times, and after all of that, I hired her. Now, this didn't all happen in a day, but this is an example of the journey you can create through a website. If it can happen more quickly than that, that is great. But your website designs also have to support the people like me who can take quite a while to decide to make a large purchase. So now let's take a step back and dive a little deeper into each one of those steps. As we go through, pay attention to each one and how you can apply that to your future design projects. Remember, depending on the type of business your client runs and the goals they have, their journey will have to be a little bit different, but going through this will give you at least a bit of an idea. So step one of my journey was finding my designer on Pinterest. Now, I could have found her anywhere, but Pinterest is just where I dove in. After that, reading her blog posts proved her as an expert to me and gave me a lot of good information that I was able to put into action right away. This really is what started the process of me loving all of her information, trusting her as an expert, and wanting more of whatever she put out. Instead of just reading one blog post and leaving, I was able to continue moving through her blog posts thanks to recent posts she had at the bottom of each post and well-organized categories. While reading her blog posts, a lot of them had content upgrades that I signed up for, and these content upgrades did a couple of things. First, they got me on her mailing list. Now, there are a lot of ways to get people to sign up for a mailing list, but in my scenario, this is what got me on hers. Now, getting on her list was an important part of my journey because it made sure I was getting her emails each and every week, which always had her at the front of my mind. These content upgrades also gave me quick wins every time I downloaded one. Usually these were actionable worksheets that went along with her blog posts, which really showed me that she could get results. Even though I wasn't thinking that way, that's what it did for me. I knew that what she put out worked. Throughout reading her blog posts and being on her email list, I eventually checked out her About page, which had some fun information about her, a piece of her journey, and a really fun picture. This was a really big part of the trust building process I needed, and it made me feel like I knew her more as a person. Just like being on her email list, those social media accounts of hers I followed kept her on my radar every single day, meaning she was always at the front of my mind. Social media was also responsible for making sure I went back to her blog every single time she scheduled a new post. And after a couple months came webinars, which I always joined directly from being on her email list. These webinars were huge for the overall journey I took through her website, because in those webinars she came not only a website, but a person, and I really got to know her personality, and I felt like we'd get along great if we worked together. After a few months, I found myself needing a web designer, and as you can probably guess, there was not a question in my mind about who I was going to work with. One last time, I went through her portfolio pieces, testimonials, and services page, and through those things, there was not a doubt in my mind that if I worked with her, I was going to end up with an amazing website that got me results. As you can probably see, all of these parts of the journey that I went through can be applied to your clients' websites. Thinking back through those steps, you can probably see that a lot of it will also depend on your client's ability to write targeted content, make use of their email list and social media platforms, but it all really starts with the journey you can create through their website designs. The biggest thing you can take away from this is to make sure your design is keeping people moving through the website. So keep them moving through blog posts once they land on one. Make sure they have an excuse to go check out the About page every once in a while, and especially the product and services pages after they've come to know your client a bit better. In this example, the email list was a huge part of it, but depending on your client's business, that might not be it. So be sure to pay attention to whether your client's focus is building social media followings, scheduling consult calls, or something else, and let that shape the overall journey that you create through the website design. So now that you can see that a website design really is responsible for creating a journey, I challenge you to put this into action the next time you go to design a website. After your first version of the mockup, take a step back, take a second look, and make sure that it's really doing the job of leading visitors through the website. If you need a little extra guidance, grab my checklist on the 10 ways to create a journey through your designs. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching today, and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.